Welcome into Outkick the Show. I am your fearless leader, Clay Travis. I hope all of you are having fantastic Thursdays wherever you may be across this great country or this great land. We got a lot to dive into, including one of my favorite stories that I have seen in some time. What are we going to hit today? We're going to talk about ESPN, according to the New York Post and Andrew Marchand, trying to trade for Al Michaels. The Titans are the new favorite to land Tom Brady if he leaves and goes to, if he leaves New England. Elizabeth Warren drops out of the race. Who is she going to endorse, if anybody? And this is amazing. The coronavirus has landed in my town, and I'm not the one with it, but people think that I'm the one with it. We'll talk about it. I appreciate all of you. Let's start off with ESPN trying to trade for Al Michaels. This is an amazing story. If you're not aware of it, the New York Post reported that ESPN wants to remake their Monday Night Football booth and that they want Peyton Manning to be paired with Al Michaels. Now, this is swinging for the fences. Interestingly, Al Michaels was previously traded from ESPN slash Disney slash ESPN to NBC. And if you remember this, in exchange for getting Al Michaels, NBC gave up Oswald the Rabbit, which was one of the first characters ever created by Walt Disney. This is not made up. Now, this happened really before the internet was taking off with social media. It would have been amazing if that had happened in that era. But Al Michaels, if you remember, was a part of the Monday Night Football booth, and he was traded to NBC, and in exchange, NBC gave up Oswald the Rabbit back to ESPN. So the question here is, what's going to happen with this announcing booth? We just saw Tony Romo get around $180 million guaranteed. And so this is wild in and of itself that, remember, NBC has Mike Tirico sitting there waiting to take over for Al Michaels, who I believe is 77 years old. And ESPN is trying to break out all the stops to put together the best announced booth that they can possibly manage. And so this will be utterly intriguing to watch to see how it plays out. Because if that trade is made, it's a big endorsement for Disney in terms of being able to get to Super Bowl and also bring things to Monday Night Football in terms of ABC. So, question for you guys, everybody watching live on Facebook, everybody watching live on Periscope, give me your trades. In the comments right now, what would be the greatest possible trade for if you were NBC, Comcast? What would you want from ESPN, Disney, in order to give up your contractual rights to Al Michaels for the next couple of years? What would be the trade bait? And I love, by the way, the concept of sports media trades in general. They don't happen very often, but I don't have much time left on my contract, so I'm not too worried about being traded at this time. I'm close to being a free agent, so you can't really include me because I'm also not employed by Comcast or by Disney. But this is pretty funny to think about what people would want in exchange for Al Michaels. But the big takeaway here is ESPN is swinging for the fences. They're going after Peyton Manning. They're trying to find the best announcer possible to pair with Peyton Manning. And this is going to be a story worth following for sure as we come down the stretch run of the spring. All right, I led my show with this morning on the radio show. This is wild if you are following it. Where is Tom Brady going to go? I will completely admit that I am enthralled by all of the free agency news that comes out about Tom Brady, about his conversations with Bill Belichick, about his conversation with Dana White on Instagram yesterday, about the 49er rumor. I can't get enough of it. So I have got the Fox Bet app downloaded on my phone. Here it is. It's pulling up right now. the Fox Bet app on my phone. You don't have to be in Pennsylvania or New Jersey to be able to use it and at least see what the lines are. And since I don't live in Pennsylvania or New Jersey, I can't bet on the app, but we use Fox Bet as the app of choice in terms of being able to place bets. And so I'm going to go check right now at this exact moment. The Tennessee Titans remain the favorite to land Tom Brady at plus 200 if Brady leaves New England. New England right now minus 125 to retain Tom Brady and not allow him to go anywhere. But the Titans have gone from 16 to 1 on Fox Bet about 10 days ago to now being all the way down to 2 to 1. If you're curious about where the money is going in terms of where Tom Brady is going to end up, the Raiders right now are 3 to 1 after the Titans. The Chargers four plus 425. The Colts 5 to 1. Everybody else is 13 to 1 or more. So this is a story that is certainly worth paying attention to. Now, Fox Bet also has odds on who Phillip Rivers' next team is going to be, and this is, I think, intriguing. Phillip Rivers is minus 150 right now to go join the Indianapolis Colts as their quarterback next year. So this blows people's mind a little bit. Phillip Rivers is a bigger favorite right now to take over with the Indianapolis Colts as their quarterback than Tom Brady is to stay with the New England Patriots, according to Fox Bet. That is worth paying attention quite a bit here. If you're curious when all of this is going to emerge, and we're going to have some resolution, NFL free agency starts on March 18th. But you can begin to negotiate with players officially on March 15th, which is a week from Sunday. So we're about 10 days away or so from negotiations actually getting underway. The other big date to keep in mind is you have to go ahead and franchise a guy by March 12th. So if you were going to franchise a guy, you have to do it by March 12th in order to be able to get that aspect of the deal done. So keep in mind on this, it is wildly entertaining to follow, I think, and we are headed for what I believe will be the most entertaining NFL free agency offseason of all time. And that doesn't even consider next month, which is the NFL draft, when we find out what in the world is likely to happen there. Elizabeth Warren has dropped out of the presidential race. Our good friend Pocahontas, as Donald Trump calls her, it's a big blow to Native Americans everywhere. She was not able to break the glass ceiling and become our first ever Native American president. Instead, her campaign, pardon the pun, went up in smoke. And as a result, she is now on the sidelines deciding who to endorse, either Joe Biden, who is going to be the nominee, or Bernie Sanders, who is going to lose. Now, this is an interesting move for her, because if she's thinking about her political future, even if Bernie Sanders is going to lose, she could endorse him and strengthen her bona fides on the left wing in the event that there's an open presidency in 2024, or she could make the decision to go endorse Joe Biden and hope to get potentially a spot in his campaign, in his cabinet, to strengthen her overall profile in the event there is an open presidency. Because even if Joe Biden wins, I really don't think he's going to run again at 82 years old and run for president. And if Donald Trump wins, obviously there will be an open presidency in 2024 with no incumbent. So I think there's a good chance that we will have no incumbent in 2024 regardless. So this is going to be worth following, as Elizabeth Warren is now out of the race, and that leaves us effectively, with Joe Biden going head-to-head against Bernie Sanders. I don't think this is going to be remotely close. Joe Biden has the delegate lead now. I don't think he's ever going to give it up. Bernie Sanders said recently that if Joe Biden has the lead going into the primary, even if he doesn't have a majority going into the convention, that he will not contest it. So the Bernie bros are going to be furious, but their man is going to end up losing yet again. The Democratic Party comes together and snatches away victory from Bernie Sanders at the last possible moment. So this is going to be fascinating to follow. It appears now that we are essentially set Incredible comeback for Joe Biden. I've talked a lot about it. If you want to go watch other videos, I did a Super Tuesday live reaction. This is going to be a fascinating story to follow. All right, I am not. There are a lot of people out there that are all worked up about the coronavirus. I am not, all right? Let me tell you why, based on all the research that I have done, I am not concerned about the coronavirus. Let me explain. This thing started obviously in China. 90,000 some odd people in China get exposed to the coronavirus. 3,000 of them roughly end up dying. If you go watch what's going on in China, they have effectively stopped the spread of the coronavirus in China, even though they had tens of thousands of cases that emerged. Right now in the United States, we have roughly, and again, I'm not counting the numbers one by one, we have roughly 150 cases, and we have already mobilized in a big way to try to stop them significantly. It appears that the coronavirus has been circulating in the United States for around 6 weeks. The biggest outbreak that we have so far is in the state of Washington in the Pacific Northwest, and it appears that that is a big part of this exposure in the United States. And most people who got the coronavirus in Washington didn't even know they had it. Because unless you are 70 plus, the coronavirus most of the time manifests itself as a relatively benign cold or flu-like symptom, which people recover from and don't even need to go see the doctor. The people who are dying by and large are already sick and already infirm and mostly old with already ravaged immune systems. So this is a story that is worth following, but not worth panicking about. The other thing about the coronavirus that I believe is significant, children seem to be relatively unaffected. That is, of all of the people who died, I believe none of them have been 10 years old or younger. So children are relatively unaffected. Almost all of the victims are either with weak immune systems or over the age of 70 years old if you go out and pay attention to the overall numbers. Now, ironically enough, because I am one of the people saying, hey, don't be worried, a couple of other stats. The World Health Organization came out yesterday, I believe it was, and said that this disease is less contagious than the flu. It didn't get a lot of attention because people want to panic and fear cells, especially in a social media age. But an important detail released yesterday by the World Health Organization was that this disease, the coronavirus, so far as they can tell, is actually less contagious than the common flu. In other words, when someone gets it, it's less likely than the flu to spread, which is good news, and it helps to explain why China could get all the way up to 90,000 cases and then suddenly be able to shut it off, so that every day now in China, they are having less than 100 new cases that are emerging. So I believe that we are going to be fine. There's a great panic that has set in. I believe now is the time to be buying stocks. I don't tell people to buy stocks and try to flip them. If you like companies, why wouldn't you buy them when they are on sale for 20 or 25% off, if not more, relative to what they were a month ago? That is, to me, a great buying opportunity, but I'm a buy and hold guy. I sit on my stocks for a long time. If you don't want to buy specific stocks, buy S&P 500 index funds, sit on it. Don't look at it for 5 years. Don't look at it for 10 years. The studies have shown that S&P 500 index funds outperform almost all investors. If you're not familiar with that, 500 large companies all in one fund, so you have a great deal of exposure to a lot of companies all with global interest. Over time, you're going to make 8 or 9% a year on average. Some years you might make 30, some years you might lose 30. Just sit out, don't worry about it. Dollar cost average, continue to put your money in there. I have gotten texted a ton, and people are tweeting me saying, hey, are you the guy in Nashville who got the coronavirus? The answer is no. The guy who got in Nashville who got the coronavirus travels a lot. He's a dad. He's 44 years old. And a lot of people evidently have decided that it's me. It is not me. I am perfectly fine. They have shut down my kids' schools on Friday and Monday because of the one person in the Nashville area that has gotten the coronavirus. They are evidently going to do a deep clean. Again, I hate to quote an old guy from 100 years ago, but he had it right when Franklin Delano Roosevelt said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. This is not going to be a massive issue. If I were setting over-unders right now, I think that this will be far less, way, way less than the number of people who die every year from the flu, and almost no attention is given to flu deaths in this country every year. That is what I would focus on. Wash your hands, vampire sneeze into your elbow, be prepared. If you get sick, stay home. Don't try to go into the office. Don't try to spread it. If you get sick, stay home. Of all the times that you've been sick and you could stay in, you will be fine. So that's my takeaway. In general, I appreciate all of you. My name is Clay Travis. This has been Outkick the Show. I got to go hop on Walk It In. It's our final show of the week over there. We'll be on at 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central, 2:30 Mountain, 1:30 Pacific. By the way, I might be the only person who would be totally unimpacted by the coronavirus if I got sick. I work from home. I got a home radio studio. I do this show from home. I got a home television studio. I would just keep working. So a lot of you out there who already work from home, you don't even have an excuse. Like I wouldn't. I would just keep working. I love all of you. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you enjoy the show, share it with your friends. Reminder that right now we have a great deal going on at Outkick. Anything that gets purchased, I'm going to send all of the proceeds to charity to help all of the tornado victims in the state of Tennessee. Props to the Tennessee Titans who donated $1 million, to the NFL who donated $250,000 to victims, and Taylor Swift giving $1 million to victims for this as well. It's been impressive to see the community of Nashville rally around all of the victims here and begin to do everything that they can to help out. Love all of you. My name is Clay Travis. DBAP unless you need to SBAP. Don't panic. Don't be overladen with fear. Just wash your hands and sneeze into your elbow, and odds are you'll be perfectly fine. Love you guys. See y'all. Bye. Love you. Thank you, Facebook. See ya.